Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum. Hey, everybody, come on in. Come on in. Can you smell the coffee brewing? I think you can. Yeah, we're so accustomed to having the simultaneous sip that you can almost taste it minutes before it happens. It is so good. And what do you do to enjoy the simultaneous sip? Well, you don't just sit there. No, you don't just watch it happen. No, that would be wrong. You join in. It's called the simultaneous sip, and all you need is a cup or mug or a glass, of tank or chalice or stein, a canteen, jar or flask, a vessel of any kind. Fill it with your favorite liquid. I like coffee. Join me now for the unparalleled pleasure, the dopamine hit of the day, the thing that makes everything better. It's called the simultaneous sip. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? You better be ready. Go. Yeah, now if you enjoyed that live, you know what the feeling is, don't you? Yeah, you do. Savor it. Savor it. Okay, now we can move on. Gotta stop and smell the coffee. That's just good advice. Here's a little mental exercise for you. And this is a good mental exercise for every situation. I'll give you a specific one here, but in general, it's good to do this. And I talk about this in Loser Think a little bit in my book. Is sometimes take a situation that you're very familiar with and you have an opinion on, and just say to yourself, what if I'm totally wrong? What if I've got the wrong filter on this? What if I'm just looking at it upside down? What if I've got cause and effect backwards? And that doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that it's a good exercise to every now and then say, what if everything is just exactly backwards of the way I think it is? I do that all the time. I take anything that I'm sure is true and I just say, but what if it's backwards? Would it still work? Like would all the evidence that I'm looking at still apply and still be perfectly compatible if you took what you thought to be true and literally reversed it? And sometimes you surprise yourself. You say, uh-oh, I just found out that all the facts I'm looking at work both ways. It's scary when it happens, and you realize how fragile your mental process is. I'm going to do that for you right now. I'm not going to try to change your mind, okay? I don't want you to change your mind on the topic that I'm going to bring up. I'm only going to show you an exercise where you can reverse the truth and it won't be crazy. That's all I'm going for, okay? Just the process. Don't change your mind on anything. When we look at the issue of, don't sign off yet. I know you're going to turn off this live stream as soon as you hear this topic, because everybody always does. Transgenders in sports. Stay with me. Stay with me. Just for a little while. It's worth it. Just stay. Stay. Okay. You know that I am one of the leading voices, at least in terms of being vocal and public about it, for saying that transgenders should have every right to play sports, etc. But what is the common way to look at this? The common way that conservatives look at it is this. This is not my opinion. I'm describing other people's opinion. The sports is good, and there's something wrong with the transgender athlete, that they're broken in some way, or they're morally or ethically deficient because they would want to play on a team in which they would dominate because they were born with some biological male qualities that they've been transferring out of. That's what you think, right? Wouldn't you say that the most common opinion from the conservative side of the world, again, not my opinion, but a common one, is that sports are good just the way they are, and there's something wrong with the athlete in this case. Now, I'm just going to ask you this question. What happens if you reverse it and you say that sports are broken, but all the athletes are fine? What if you just say, how about the world is full of all kinds of different people? There are short people, tall people, people who have skills, people who are strong, people who are weak, People have different gender, sex traits, infinite different people. Can people really be broken? Is it really the people who are defective here? Because people come in all kinds. It's hard to say that any one of them is wrong when it's an infinite variety and none of them are exactly the same. Why don't we say the sports are broken? And here's specifically what I mean. The best kind of sports would be where you're playing with somebody who is roughly equal in ability. Isn't that the whole problem with having a transgender athlete playing on a women's traditional team? The whole problem is that you have a mismatch of talent and even physicality, right? So the problem is not that the athlete is broken. There's nothing wrong with the athlete who wants to just play some sports. What's wrong is that the sport doesn't allow people of equal ability to play against each other. You want another example? I'm male. So according to the rules of sports, the way they exist, I could play on a men's basketball team if I were, let's say, in college or high school. But could I? Could I play on a men's basketball team? I'm 5'8". No, I can't. There should be a sport for me in which I can play basketball against people who are roughly the same height. That would be a good sport. What is the point of putting me in a game in which I'm playing with people who are 7 feet tall? There's no point in that. The sport is broken. It's not me. I'm not defective because I'm 5'8". I'm kind of in the normal range of human beings. There are people smaller than me, people bigger than me. It's completely normal to not be normal, right? We're all not normal in some way. Fix the sport. Why in the world do you ever put people of wildly different abilities on the same team? Does it matter what the gender is? It shouldn't. I've told this story before. I played co-ed soccer years ago. And one of the women who played co-ed soccer on our team was really good. So as a female player, she was extra good at soccer, which made her better at soccer than maybe a quarter of the men that were on the field. Now, the other men were also good at soccer, and they were physically stronger, so they had some advantages, but she was probably better than a good 25% of the men who were playing. Should she have to play with only female athletes if she would prefer to play with stronger players? And the answer is no. She was perfectly happy playing co-ed soccer with people who were physically bigger than her. Now, it didn't work out well for her. It turns out I broke her nose. But if she had not been on a team with larger men, maybe her nose would not have been broken. I didn't do it intentionally, by the way. I just cleared a ball fairly aggressively. Her face was in the way. A lot of blood happened. But did she quit playing soccer? She did, of course, because her face was broken. But she had the right to play, and she was with people of equal talent, and it's where she wanted to be. The sports were broken, not her, and not me. So that is my point. Sports are broken. Why do you have men's teams and women's teams instead of just teams? Why can't people just play on the team that's matched to their ability? Why do sports have to be part of a high school and college? It's ridiculous. The way high school sports are designed is to make stars out of a few people and to make everybody else feel like a loser. Sorry, that's the way they're designed. Sports make most people losers, and they make stars out of a few people who were born with some lucky combination of things that made them athletically gifted. And why do we praise people who are born athletically gifted? I don't know. I don't see a good reason. I'd rather see somebody who wasn't born athletically gifted do a good, try hard and do good work for what they've got. All right, so fix sports so that everybody can play in the team that is roughly their ability. And while you're at it, why don't you fix the rest of sports which are broken? I'll give you some more examples. Golf is mostly about looking for your ball. That's a stupid sport. Golf should make all of the clubs the same length, number one. Having clubs of different length is just stupid. I mean, it's just making it extra hard for no reason. Make the balls easier to find or allow you to just put your ball down wherever is the last place you saw it. It'd be better. How about, uh, how about tennis? Tennis used to be fun. It used to be my favorite sport. And I would play with people roughly my ability, and so it was a lot of fun. But then the equipment got so good, the actual tennis racket, that even a average player can hit a serve so hard that a good player can't return it. So tennis is a completely ruined sport because the equipment got so good that the whole serving part of it, which is so big a part of the sport, is not fun. It's not even close to fun. It just, the ball goes past you, or maybe you hit it, but it's just luck. So tennis is a completely ruined sport because when the equipment got good, it just became not fun to play anymore. That's why I don't play anymore. So all of sports are broken. Stop thinking that the athletes are broken. There's nothing wrong with transgender athletes. There's nothing wrong with any athletes. People are just different. Give everybody a way to play sports. And the whole idea that women need to have trophies, aren't we over that? I don't know why anybody needs a sports trophy unless they're a professional. If you're a professional, then yeah, I can see, having things arranged differently because it's for spectating. But for school sports, get rid of sports in schools. Now, those of you who are resisting, it's because your kids do well in sports. If I had kids who did really well in sports, I would definitely want sports in schools. But most kids are not good in sports. So what's good for your kids might not be good for other people. Join me now for the unparalleled pleasure, the dopamine hit of the day, thing that makes everything better. It's called the Simultaneous Clip. Go.